All right. Yes, 15 minutes gone past 5. You tuned into Smooth 98.1. And it is personal finance where we got to, where we get to talk about how we can manage our monies, make good sense of our monies, and so much more. And today we're going to be talking about how, even with all those rising costs, taxes, and so much more, we can still make headway with our monies. Manage it in such a way that it will make sense for you at the end of the day. And my guest joining me virtually is in the person of Jude Okorharen, and he is the CMO of RavenPay Limited. Good to have you here, and I hope your day
Thank
is
you very much. Thank you.
uh,
Good to have you.
all right, Lagos, you as well could chime in and maybe you have questions that you want to ask regarding managing your finances and making headway of it. You can actually come through and share your thoughts this evening on WhatsApp. The number is 0809 4440981. You can also join us on YouTube at youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos and share your thoughts as well on that platform. But talking about things that some people are still trying to make headway of is the taxes we're having with the rising costs. You know, a lot of questions going through everybody's mind. But one of the things I want to find out is where can one actually cut back to offset the possibility of higher telecom bills? Because that is the one thing that I know most Nigerians try to, make use of. And when I say telecom, because you're having to buy data. So it is what we're using right now. So if you have to pay higher taxes for that, it's just going to be like, huh? It was something we were enjoying. Why are you taking it away from us? So let me know what your thoughts are. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, hi. Okay, so now the rise in tax and everything that affects the cost right now, especially in the telecoms industry, it's alarming and it's affecting business generally, right? And it's also affecting the customers, which are the end consumers, right? It's affecting them in different ways. And this rise in cost, especially what recently just happened, there's a 5%, it's a proposed 5% increment, right, in tax for the telecoms industry. So this is going to be affecting them, of course, which they will most likely, because they're already operating very high expenses already. So they will most likely be passing this across to the end users, which are the customers. And
Which
the customers are you and I, all right?
Right.
Yeah, when this happens, it's going to be incurring more expenses on the end users, right? So once this happens, it's most likely going to make you want to shrink your other expenses just for you to be able to cater for such things like this. And with this means that you have to like cut down on expenses around your, let's say, I'll give an instance, streaming and subscription services where you normally do your, I don't want to call it
the brands. I
because
understand.
we like to stream movies,
a
lot of things actually consume. So all those kind of subscriptions, you might want to consider cutting them down so that you'll be able to have enough funds to cater for other expenses you would have as an individual, right? Streaming and subscription expenses, you want to cut them down. Grocery shopping, you want to cut grocery shoppings down. You want to do bulk buying for the major things you would need. But you want to do bulk buying. So when you earn for salary earners at the end of the month, you want to calculate a certain amount and do bulk buying, which will help you save more money on the long run than buying small. At the end of the day, you find out that you're spending more. So you look towards bulk buying. There are some other subscriptions as well, like let's say gym membership. I know I'm also I subscribe to my gym, and I don't utilize it. And over time, once it's a month, you just get debited. They just subscribe automatically, right? And sometimes some people don't even go to the gym; they just go just a few number of times. So those are some part of the expenses you've been incurring. At this time, you don't want to continue incurring those kind of expenses. You would want to cut them down and ensure that you focus on your needs, not just everything that you want. You leave the wants for the meantime and focus on your need and cater for those expenses only. Like other ones are like clubbing, people that love clubbing, you want to have fun. Yes, you're working, but then you want to cut down
We need our
on clubbing,
entertainment.
quite a lot. Yeah, you want to have fun, yes, but you want to go to, you can still have fun while you cut down
Okay.
your expenses. You go to some little place, maybe have picnic with your friends and family, and you don't have to spend too much like in a club where you have to buy overpriced drinks, so many things. And this is not, I also say that this is not the time people want to feel among or want to do all these wannabes. You don't want to tag along because you just want to do certain things and spend money unnecessarily. Right. So
Right.
these are the times where you have to cut down on the expenses you should have. Yeah.
Okay. So now that you're saying that we should cut down expenses, bulk buy, groceries, just do we have to do our wants as opposed to, no, our needs rather to our wants. How does that affect, the small businesses who are trying to cope? And before we get to the family, let's actually speak about those businesses who are trying to thrive in this economy. They're looking at making headway, but it seems like they're struggling. And now we're saying that there's going to be an increase in telecom costs. How is that going to affect them, especially for those who are trying to use this as a means of survival?
Okay. For businesses, right? The telecoms cost is going to really affect them because, just look at businesses that make use of, let's say you have a kind of business and maybe a retail business, and you have let's say you have a customer support there. You probably be recharging airtime for the person to be making calls to customers, and you're also
Right.
incurring other expenses, maybe data, subscription, everything that has to get your business running, even if it's a small business. Now, those expenses you would be making with these times now, there's an inflation that is affecting, cutting across all sectors, or everything, all of your expenses. Now, at this point, you want to ensure that you are cutting down some of these costs to be able to cater for the most important thing you need for your business. You don't want to do things that will not positively affect the capital of your business. So you want to ensure that in your small business that you're doing, you want to ensure that
Still.
everything that gives you that ensures that your capital is intact or would always add to your capital, right? To ensure that that is already sorted, nothing affects it, not even unnecessary expenses for some of these other bills. Want to ensure that all of that is sorted. And then in your business, you continue to just grow your business. Look forward to profits making ventures in your business only. I'll give an instance. Let's say, for instance, I have a boutique, right? And I have a boutique. I still sell my clothes online, on Instagram, Facebook, people make it online. So yes, I use data for such things, so that is a necessary expense. Then maybe sometimes the person I have there, the customer support personnel or the front desk, maybe when data that we normally subscribe for certain things where you have to respond to customers and do well, you're using it for TikTok and TikTok videos, Instagram videos, all those kind of, you're going to be consuming much data, and, you don't want to, so you want to focus on what is really necessary for your business. Those are the places you want to make your.
And out of curiosity, right? I know that there's some telecom companies that actually give they tell you, oh, okay, you have unlimited bandwidth. So is that something as well those organizations or those companies can actually look into? And when they say unlimited, some can be unlimited, so some can be still capped. Is there a way that even with that, maybe those business owners can look at how they can cap it so that those who are the stars that, like you actually just rightly stated, that maybe they're using it for TikTok, unnecessary things. Maybe that's another angle they can look at. I'm
cut
just
down.
curious. Yes, to cut down. Is that something they can look into with the unlimited, right? You know
Okay.
that. Okay, so
Yes.
what I was
Okay.
saying is
No. Okay. Yeah, I got you. So now for
okay,
the
go ahead.
unlimited, yeah. So I subscribe unlimited data, right?
Right.
That is what it is called. sometimes you find for some of the packages, sometimes for
Okay.
some telcos, right?
Yes.
Sometimes you find out that you subscribe unlimited, and then at the end of the day, if you've used up to, let's say,
A certain
200
band.
gig, right? You
Yes.
find out that it's going to be slowing down. So the speed rate at which you were browsing and using your internet is going to be slowing down. So it's actually not unlimited.
Okay.
Although in some telcos, right, they have some subscription plans that are actually unlimited. So you'd
Okay.
want to see how well you more or less
Maximize it.
maximize your expenses. Yeah, you want to buy the package that is truly unlimited for your business and you're still not spending so much. But if the package you're going to be buying, because there are different bundles and different packages, if you're going to be buying, if you were spending on unlimited packages before, and you're most likely not utilizing it, maybe you usually spend X amount of money and your data expense you usually burn like, let's say 30 gig on a monthly basis, and you used to subscribe unlimited, right? You look at it, I don't usually spend up to this amount of money. Why don't I cut the expense down and just buy something that should cover me like, let's say 50 gig on a monthly basis? So with that 50 gig, you'll be able to, you cut down the expenses you normally spend for unlimited, and then you buy something more lesser and still achieve the same purpose.
Okay. Well, Lagos, let me know how it is that you are also trying to cut costs and manage your finances. What are the things you're doing right now that is working out for you, either as an individual, a family, or a business owner? Let's actually weigh in on the conversation. Let's know how it is you're managing your finances and making headway even in this economy. But one of the things I want to definitely get into is, as the one thing you always hear is, oh, can the government come in? Is there nothing that the government can do? Bearing that in mind, is there a way that a government can actually come in and sort of give a tax relief or something in that measure that small businesses wouldn't have to bear so much of this brunt when it comes to telcos? Or is there something they can do to assist the telcos so that they don't have to increase their taxes as well?
Okay, yes. The government can, open up consumer relief programs, right?
Okay.
Let's say to actually encourage the business owners and also the consumers as well. I'll give an instance. Let's say you subscribe 20,000 naira a month to get 100 gig, for that month, right? But then you're having, let's say a salary earner that earns 100,000 naira a month. Let me use that small amount of money, 100,000 naira a month, and you spend, because let's say you work remotely and you spend so much, a sizable percentage of your earnings. So you spend, let's say, for instance, 20,000 naira for data, because that's part of your business and your work. So that expense you're making for that particular amount of data, if you're to subscribe that for 3 months, that is going to be a total amount of 60,000 naira, 20,000 naira in 3. Now, if we can do some government relief packages can be in a way that, subscribe quarterly, pay one time quarterly, and you pay maybe 45,000 naira or 50,000 naira instead of spending 60,000 naira like at the end of the 3 months. So that's going to help the individual cost cut down about 15,000 naira if it is 45,000 naira for a quarter. And you'll be able to use that 15,000 naira for something else, other expenses that you should have. So that's just a small example. That can also be scaled as well. So that can be applied to other parts. And the government can also do some support, support small businesses, do some promotions that should also encourage businesses, right? Government can do different things, even tax incentives. Tax incentives, and government can do the tax incentives in a way that it doesn't have to really affect both the businesses and the consumers at the end of the day. So these are ways that governments can actually help to cut down the expenses and support both individuals and the businesses in this industry.
All right, let's take this quick breather. On the other side, we definitely will talk more about how we can have a balance on essentials, like talking about data, talking about fuel, grocery shopping, and so much more. And I also see you as well, Gabriel. We'll get into your message on the other side of this quick breather. Lagos, don't go nowhere. Stay tuned to Smooth 98.1. It's just a quick one. And we're back in. Just about more or less, just say a minute. We're back in.
But his actions run like thunder against the tyranny and oppression from old oil. Bishop is a story that will take you back where a single man's courage changed the fate of his people. Find out how it happened in Bishop, The Uprising, now showing on Netflix with plans starting from 2,200 naira.
Love music.
Hi, my name is Jude Okorharen, and you're listening to Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. It's all about your finances made easy,
because financial education is about not looking for money.
Personal finance on Smooth 98.1.
It is 32 minutes gone past 5, and you tuned into Smooth 98.1. And indeed, on personal finance this evening, we're talking about the rising telecom costs, taxes, and most especially how you can manage your finances in a challenging economy. And my guest is here virtually, though, and he is Jude Okorharen, and he is the CMO of RavenPay Limited, and sharing insight on how Lagosians, Nigerians, and the world over can actually manage their finances in any challenging economy. Because, hey, some people don't realize that other economies are also trying to survive. But let's actually even focus on our own. And I'm coming back to the things that you spoke about earlier, and that is how to prioritize what it is we need. For areas where you don't have regular constant power supply, how do you not expect the person to manage? And he has to make sure that he fuels his generator. He has to power his electricity. For a business owner too, that's something. How do I even make my business run without having to get fuel? And I don't have constant power supply. How do I not figure out what is my need? What is my want for my business? How do I make some money? It's just grinding a lot of businesses' gears as well as families. But let me let you share your thoughts on how things can be balanced, and we still have some respite at the end of the day.
Okay. All right. I'll go first with the for fuel to be able to like run your businesses, right? I'll usually advise that business owners should try as much, not just even individuals as well, business owners and individuals, they should try as much as possible to get inverter to support their businesses. Now, when I say getting an inverter, yes, solar, right? Getting solar panels, the batteries, and the inverter to support their businesses. Now, getting an inverter is very cheap. I understand that. So, but it will help on the long run. Now, packages, there are companies, right, that give staff of companies and business owners, they give them subsidized expense, like subsidized amounts for them to be able to cover up for their inverter pack. There's usually different categories, maybe 3.5 kVA, 5 kVA, maybe 10 kVA, depending on what you can afford. Now, if you don't have the entire amount of money to pay at once, some of these companies also have installment packages that you can pay on installments. Let's say you pay, you'll be paying on a monthly basis. Some give you within 6 months, some 1 year, some give up to 2 years for you to be able to make the payment so that you don't even your business. But if you can be able to cover that on time, that makes sense. And it will give you a long period of rest. You don't have to be bothered about the fuel expenses. Even if you have to buy for your generators for your business, then you might not have to really do much. But most of the times, once you alternate that with your regular power supply, it would help you a whole lot. All right. So
how regular is the power supply?
But the current rate, it's not very regular. So you can go for a higher package. Now, there's one thing, you can start small with it. Let's say 3.5 kVA package. Over time, there's even a 1.5 kVA now. So you can pay as low as 5,000 naira monthly. You can, some packages you can pay, let's say 300,000. be some more, but some packages you can pay as low as 65 or even 45,000 naira monthly. So on the long run, you'll be able to cover up that expense. You don't have to bother about fuel. That can cover you for an entire day, 24 hours, whether it is raining, whether the sun is it's down,
Right.
or at night, cover you up till the next day well enough, and it continues. Even when the weather is not that bright, not that sunny, you still get good coverage, right? So that helps a whole lot. So you don't have to be bothered about the fuel expenses. That's just one of the ways we can help with that. Then aside the fuel expense, I would also advise for personal and expenses, and even for business expenses as well. The business owner can also apply this. It creates a budget, right? You have to readjust your budget, look into your budget. Okay, I normally spend what you normally spend on. You have to okay, I don't need to do all of this from the beginning of the month. Okay, or the end of the month, you check, what did I spend? This was my income. What did I spend? What percentage did I spend on? What did I spend on this? So you start finding out that you don't spend, you've been spending on some things that are unnecessary, but to you feel, okay, I should just do it, maybe to impress. I'll give an instance, like Owambe's, Ashwebi's, all this kind of events.
You went there.
I can remember pretty well. There was a month I attended a couple of weddings, and I was part of the
entourage.
I was just wondering, I looked, wow, I spent so much this month. What happened? And then I went into my app. That is why it really helps you to have very good finalytics. Very good finalytics. I went into my app. So let me show you this on my tab.
Okay.
I don't know if I mentioned.
I can actually see that.
Any financial institution that can help you to
manage
get your finalytics properly. Yeah, so I had my analytics on my banking app, and then I saw what I spent on Ashwebi alone that month. So I checked on it and I saw that, let's look at this. So this is it. You can see that this is savings and investment. It shows you a percentage of what you spend. I don't know if you get what I mean. So
I get what you mean.
Show the percentage.
At least you know how you've been spending your monies and what it is you've been spending it on.
So I got to look I saw that I spent a sizable chunk on Ashwebi's, and then I spent another sizable amount of it on fuel, because sometimes I might just get a call from my friend, oh, we have to do this, we have to do. Okay, that's fine. And then I'll show up in the place. You'll be moving from one part of Lagos to the other part of Lagos. And then I checked again. I was, okay, I've been spending so much on fuel, I have to cut down. Am I going to the office? No. Am I going to maybe church or worship center or something that is very important to me? Sometimes that's not where I was going to. So I had to cut down on these expenses, and I saw that I was able to save, the money I spent, I was able to save 1/3 of it from all the expenses I made. So that should also apply as well. You prioritize your needs over your wants. You shop smart for groceries, bulk buying. You just plan your finances generally, and you ensure that you set up emergency funds just in case something happens. Maybe you fall ill. Of course, there's HMO for some people. Some people don't have HMO. But then that can actually help you on the long run.
I'm sure that Lagos is listening and taking in the tips that they need. But let's quickly get to some of the messages. Starting off with Gabriel. He says 5% tax on telcos again. No wonder my data runs down so quickly anytime I'm using the internet service. God help us. Nigeria economic heartbreaks with government policies. Our belts are overstretched already. See, I don't even know how we'll survive, but we will. We're resilient people. As they say, we always make headway even when it seems like there's no headway. Cisco Delgado says, data is our new shop rent for online marketing. I agree with you on that one, because, hey, you have to sell your goods. If you don't have the physical store, your online store is where you'll be selling your goods. Anyways, he's also saying that solar is the way to go. And so far, for the past 5 years, he's never bothered, getting petrol for his generators, and he's never run out of power. See, Cisco, you need to hook me up with the services you're using, but we'll get back to that one. Just fuck it. We'll see in camera. But yes, let's even come back to the things that we can actually even avoid, or things we can put in proper perspective. I want to know if you think that higher tariffs would limit access to digital services for those who actually need to get it, or do you think it's something that low income households would just say, okay, you know what, I don't even need it at all? Because you've been talking about how it is most homes are streaming certain things. They want to watch the things that they like, as opposed to having terrestrial TV. I can't remember when last I sat down and said I was watching terrestrial TV. So you can imagine that everybody's streaming something, and it's either their phone, their tabs, even their television, the smart TVs right now. So everything is online. So imagine that. How then do we make headway and still be able to enjoy the things we want to enjoy?
Okay, so I would say that at certain points in times, we might not really get everything we were getting before. However, we can still maximize the best of what we have, right? Get the best of what we have. I'll give an instance. I would say that, let's say, for instance, you're subscribing DSTV, your multi-choice package, you do premium, right? I think that's over something thousand naira, getting to for something, I don't know. Or it's pretty high. That's what you used to subscribe before. And the truth is, most of the time, you don't, this is supposed to be
you're not home
package.
to even watch it.
It's supposed to be like a pay-as-you-go package, so that as you're using it, you're going to be, that is what you're going to be charged. But then you just pay for it at the end. Whether you watch the TV or you don't use it in any way, you're still going to pay the full amount. So you would want to cut down on those kind of expenses. And not, if you can continue with it, fine, but you want to cut down on those kind of, maybe you want to do a compact or family package. Of course, you're going to lose out on the most interesting channels you used to go for, but you might have to compromise at certain points in time, because there's a time whereby you also have to compromise. So you want to compromise and ensure that you manage. You're still going to get fun. You might watch, okay, you can go for like other streaming. I think they have the Showmax, right?
Platforms.
That's not. Yeah,
so you go for all
like
those
that.
other paid for TV platforms.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the way to go for that one. Okay, but how then do we also make headway when it comes to I'm now talking about for those who have to pay for power. You know how it is. Certain people, some are paid, some are postpaid, some are prepaid. How then do we maximize? Because before, maybe you're using you turn everything on. you leave all your power, all your lightning on and all that, and you go and come back. God, my room is cold, freezing. And then you're like, you've run out of power, and you have to. How then do you maximize making sure that you're still enjoying those things without having to have that hole being burnt into your pockets?
Okay, so first of all, some people, they just put on their electrical appliances like on, they just like seeing everything on, right? But this is the time where you would want to cut down on everything. You want to put off the ACs where you're not in that room. You want to put off the ACs where you're not there. You want to put off the electrical appliances around that environment, right? You just want to ensure that you reduce most of all those, putting on the lights on the TV, the ACs, the refrigerators, when everywhere in the fridge or it's already blocked.
Are you sure we want us to be turning off our fridge?
No, like I said, everywhere is completely blocked. And maybe you don't have much. Maybe you don't have much in your, and you're just leaving it on, for a while. If you stock it, of course, you should leave it on. But then you just, there's some people just leave their ACs turned on for the whole day. They might be at the office but just like leaving the place.
Oh my days, we just want it cold.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, maybe when you come back, you have to wait for a few minutes, and then you get the whole place cold again. So you want to you reduce all of that, and then in Nigeria we don't do much of the postpaid. We do majorly prepaid, right? So we want to cut down on most of all of this. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for all that insight today, and just out of the box, right? how do you think we will actually be making headway before the holidays are around the corner? What is the advice that you would give that, well, family, that individual, anyone listening to personal finance right now, in order to manage their economy, manage their finances, and still be able to enjoy the holidays when it comes around?
Okay, I would advise one out of the three most important things. One, save. Like save like your life depends on it. Yes,
Okay.
I understand that. Even in fact, there's this saying that before my salary or whatever it is comes to save me, I don't know how is it even put. I'm trying to remember, but it's something that has to do with the money that the money I save for my rainy days is as if I'm going to save money, something like that. But you are
Okay.
saving an amount of money that
Right.
maybe on the rainy day, this money is going to save you. But then sometimes you might not be able to save that amount of money because of other expenses. So, and these kind of things lead to borrowing, unnecessary borrowing. So you get a lot of people even asking, you might be managing your own finances that might not be enough. And then you get other people still telling you, please, I will need this. I need urgent 2K, black tax will just be the order of the day. Yeah, so try as much as possible. And it's good to lend to your friends and people, but I would advise, because this period, people that you lend money to, most likely not everybody will be able to pay back to you. So if you're going to lend money to people, it's good to help. But if you're going to lend to people, do what you might be able to, let go. Or maybe at least a certain percentage to let go, so that you don't get, when you need it to save you, the person might not be there to bring it back to you. So try as much as possible to save while you earn. Maybe you get your 50% of your earnings or thereabouts. You know how you can plan your money better. It depends on what you earn and the amount. You can use, let's say, 50% whatever you plan for your the expenses for the entire month or the time being, and then you can have some percentage for savings, and then you can have, let's say, a smaller some sort of small percentage for future investments, right? You can just have it on a separate savings. I'll give an instance, like in Raven, there's the Raven Stash, where there's the high-fi, where you can save and you can end up to like 21% per annum, right? That actually helps. Sometimes before you know, you want money you've already saved, it's already 3 months or 6 months, and you are far gone in it. You're going to be earning well, and it's going to help you going forward. So I advise people to save, invest in, maybe you buy stock. There are some stock options. You can buy some good stock. You can get a team of people to advise you, financial organizations to actually help. We all in Raven also help that as well. And you can also, finally, on the last part, I'll tell people to cut down on their expenses. They should cut down on their expenses. The way you normally do things, if it's not necessary, you would want to cut down on it. Don't try to impress anybody. Help where you can help, go to places where you can go to, but don't try to be you cannot be doing all of that
everything all at once. All right.
So
thank you so much for those helpful tips, and I'm sure that Lagos will be grateful for it. And finally, before we go, Cisco Delgado says, well, for him, he never gives, he always gives or lends the amount that he can forfeit. And for now, it is only one piece of meat in the plate. Oh my days. Thank you so much for that. So how can Lagos reach out to you, especially they want to get more insight on how they can save, if they're looking at things they want to invest in? What are your social media handles that they can reach out to you on?
Okay, on Instagram, I am Tegajude, TEGAJUDE. Then I'll just say on Instagram, that's it.
That's it.
I'm not so much active on the other social media. Yeah.
Okay.
On X, Jude Okorharen, Jude, JUDE, then Okorharen, OKORHAREN. Then that's the same on Facebook as well. But then for more financial tips, I'll just advise that they should visit Raven, as that's THERAVENBANK. So that would also help, and other financial institutions.
All right. Thank you so much for all that insight. And I trust that you will have a very good evening and a pleasant week. Well, to the weekend. It's almost the weekend already. So I'm sure that you have a pleasant one as well.
Okay. Thank you too.
Thank you
Have a
so
nice
much for being here. And thank you, Lagos, for always being here, sharing your insights as well. But you know, there's so much more lined up for you on the other side. So don't go nowhere. Stay tuned to Smooth 98.1.
Thank you.
8.1.
Thank you so much.